Welcome everybody. A very good day to all of you. Thank you very much for joining the program. Today is a very important day. Today is the birthday of Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj, who was the first president of the Ramakrishna Order and also was considered as a Manas Putra or child of Sri Ramakrishna, very close to Sri Ramakrishna. So our program today will be like this. First of all, the Vesper Services, that is Arati, will be performed by our spiritual advisor and minister in charge, Swami Udaaranandaji Maharaj. Khandana Bhaba Bandhana, the evening prayer of Ramakrishna Order, which was written by Swami Vivekananda himself and composed by Swami Vivekananda himself. So we'll start with the Khandana Bhava Bandhana. Once our prayer is there, then we will we'll have a discourse by Swami Udaaranandaji Maharaj, our spiritual in charge, on various aspects of Swami Brahmananda's life. He will try to explain things in more anecdotal fashion so that it gathers more interest, it generates and kindles more interest. So please, we would like to share with you, day after tomorrow, there is birthday celebration of another direct disciple, one of the 16 direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, Trigunatitanandaji Maharaj. So same time, that is 6:30 Philippine, Hong Kong, Singapore time, and 4:00 p.m. India time. So please now give me 30 seconds to play the Arati song, and Swami Udaaranandaji will perform the Arati. So please wait for the Arati to start. We have just ended the Arati. We have just ended the Arati, and we will now be listening to the lecture by Swami Udaaranandaji Maharaj on Swami Brahmanandaji. We are so lucky. Maharaj has kindly agreed to speak on Brahmanandaji, and will try to present his life and teachings in an anecdotal way, in an interesting way, so that it is more intelligible to us. And after his discourse, we'll have two beautiful devotional songs. All of you can enjoy those two songs, and you can sing also by keeping yourself muted. Now we would request Udaaranandaji Maharaj to kindly start his lecture. We are once again so much thankful to him for giving us this lecture on this auspicious day of Tithi Puja, birthday of Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj, Rakhal Maharaj. So Swami Udaaranandaji Maharaj. Unmute yourself, Maharajji. You are muted.
Thank you, Nirmala. I, on the behalf of Ramakrishna Vedanta Society of the Philippines, welcome you all for today's function. Today we are celebrating the Tithi Puja or birthday of Swami Brahmanandji, the direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and who was the first president of the Ramakrishna Order. So I will begin with the chant. Om Sthavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Sarupine Avatar Varisthaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha Jananim Sharadam Devi Ramakrishna Jagadguru Pada Padme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Mohor Mohor Namaste Athirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Sache Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Kalende Fulla Kamale Madhave Nakridarata Brahmananda Namastubhyam Sadguru Lokanayakam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, today we are going to talk of Swami Brahmanandji, the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. As we have discussed earlier, and I have told you again and again, Sri Ramakrishna had 16 disciples. So, the question is, what is the need of having a 16 disciple? Was there a need? Was his coming alone was not enough? Why did he need a band of 16 followers? So the thing is very easy to explain. If Sri Ramakrishna would have come along without Holy Mother or Swamiji, we would not have inherited such a very vast legacy of spiritual wealth that we see now. It is because of those 16 direct disciples and Holy Mother that whatever we see now is before us. They were the one instrumental in materializing or cementing that philosophy so that it could spread. The legacy of Sri Ramakrishna is spread through the Ramakrishna Order as we see it now, the Ramakrishna organization. So it was the Swami Vivekananda who established, and he is the instrumental in only establishing the order. But the formalization of the order and the growth of the order was made by the contribution of all other 15 disciples. And primarily the celebration, the Tithi Puja birthday of whom we are celebrating today is Swami Brahmanandji, who was made the first president of the Ramakrishna Order by Swami Vivekananda. So we have tried to present the life of the disciples in various ways. Sometimes we want to explain highlight the teachings of the direct disciples, or some life or philosophy. We want to talk about philosophy. But many people have told me that philosophy and too much high philosophy and too much of teaching is very boring. All the times getting dictums of doing, don't do and don't do, or do this or do that is too boring. And naturally for us also, if you are a student in a school, if teacher is all the time telling do this and do that, it is very boring and sometimes very disgusting also. So today we will not talk, but it is necessary. Teachings are no doubt necessary, and we have to have teachings. But today we will try to, on a lighter side, try to discuss about the incidents that happened in the life of Rakhal Maharaj, Raja Swami Brahmanandji, or Rakhal Maharaj as he was called. He was named as, he was born as Rakhal Chandra Ghosh in the year 1863, the same year as Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was born on 12th January and he was born on 22nd January. Though the difference is very less, yet his entire life Swami Brahmanandaji gave respect to Swamiji as elder brother. He used to call him Dada, the only 10 days junior, but that love and respect remained with throughout their lives. And as we have this, in our last class that we had, where the Swami Chidakanandaji discussed about the North Calcutta, so though Swami Brahmanandji was born in Bashirhat district, but he came to that northern part of Calcutta, Shimla street, to where Swami Vivekananda was also born, and almost most of the disciples got together there itself. That was the very interesting thing, that why that all of them will come to North Calcutta, we do not know, but all of them, all the disciples that we see, except Latu Maharaj, who hails from Likha, Chhabra, most of them were originated in and around North Calcutta, and disciples also, Balaram Ghosh, Girish Ghosh, all the disciples, all the Leela of Ramakrishna was done in that area of North Calcutta. So that is very important. Part of the discussion that we had last, and many people found it very interesting. So now coming to Rakhal Maharaj. So we will discuss his relationship with Sri Ramakrishna, his relationship with Swamiji, and his life as a president of the Ramakrishna Order. So first we will talk of Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna, during the end of his sadhana, wanted again and again prayed to the Divine Mother. Oh Mother, I am feeling very lonely. I do not have anybody to talk to. Please send somebody who can talk, with whom can I talk and I can associate with. You see, all the time we hanker for a company. Somebody who will understand us, who will know us. This is the desire, a very common desire. More so for an avatara or the incarnation who has reached such a high level that ordinary people, he will not relish the company of ordinary people because ordinary people will not understand him. So he again and again prayed, and sometimes he will cry in anguish, oh mother, please send somebody, please somebody, as if he wanted that the disciples should come and all things should get materialized as he has dreamt. So he already had a vision that this is going to come in, that Ramakrishna order is going to come. So he used to pray every day to Mother, oh Mother, please send somebody. Then one day, Divine Mother gave him a vision. Then she brought a boy and put him on his lap and said, this will be your son. So Sri Ramakrishna was shocked. He said, why Mother? I am a monk. How can I have a son? Bolwad, no, this will, how come I will get a son? Then Mother said, no, this is not going to be your son, physical son, he will be your spiritual son. So Manasa Putra. So Rakhal was known as Manasa Putra of Sri Ramakrishna, the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna. So that is how when Rakhal, when he came to Sri Ramakrishna, Rakhal's sister was married to one Manomohan Mitra who brought him to Sri Ramakrishna. The day Sri Ramakrishna saw Rakhal, he understood this is the boy of whom the Divine Mother had given him the vision. So he was very pleased and happy. And at the same time, Brahmanandji also was very happy. Rakhal was also equally happy to see Master. Both were attracted to each other. Before going further, first I would like to talk something about the character of Raja Maharaj. Raja Maharaj from very, very young age was very, very devoted. He used to make images of Mother Kali and worship, and he was very mild and timid. Seldom he will shout or get angry. That was his nature. But that gravity of his personality was so strong and vivid that it had an effect on the entire place, the place where he was staying or present, that the entire place will get affected by his very presence. So during that time in schools, people, as we know earlier in India, in schools they will use cane and to beat the boys. And there was a saying, spare the can and spoil the child. Spare the can and spoil the child means you have to beat the child, then only he will come under the rule. But Raja Maharaj, when he saw that teachers were beating the children, one of his fellow students, he got very, very disappointed and sad. But he could not say anything. But his sadness was so strong, the feeling was so strong, the sympathy was so strong that eventually in his presence, the master, the teacher, decided not to beat the children anymore and try better ways of treating them and inspiring them. These characteristics we see in full form when Swami Brahmanandji became the president of the Ramakrishna Order. He never scolded anybody, never punished anybody, simply by leading them with example of his own life, by meditation. We will come to that later on. He changed the life of all the other monastic workers who were associated with him. So now that relation with Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that there are 6 Ishwar Koti. Out of his 16 disciples, 6 were extra special. So in what way he used to call them Ishwar Koti. One was supremely pure soul. So who were the pure? This one was Swami Brahmanandji, one was Rakhal, Swami Vivekananda, Yogananda, Premananda, Niranjanananda, and Purna Chandra. There was one lay devotee who did not become monk. So he used to say these 6 people are Ishwar Koti, the purest of the pure soul. They are born pure. They do not need any other training. They need not do any tapasya to purify themselves. So that is the classification Sri Ramakrishna gave. And then Sri Ramakrishna also used to say that He is like a king. Rakhal is like a king. His behavior, his personality, and his behavior is like a king. So that is why the Swamiji started calling him Raja. So now that Rakhal Maharaj became Raja Maharaj. So now he is lovingly known as Raja Maharaj also by the monastic members of all our order and so forth. So then now we talk about his relationship with Sri Ramakrishna. How Sri Ramakrishna used to teach and train each of the disciple in a different way. One day Sri Ramakrishna told Rakhal to please massage my feet. So Rakhal was from a very affluent family. He was a son of Zamindar. Zamindar means he's so rich. Every work was done by the servant. So to think that Thakur was asking him to massage, he got very angry and he did not want to do it. But nevertheless, he did not have the courage to say no to him. So he started doing massage. While he was massaging the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, he had a vision that a small little girl came from the divine temple and started encircling the bed where Sri Ramakrishna was lying down and then merged into him. So that was the first vision. You see, by giving him them simple little work, Sri Ramakrishna used to transform the level of these disciples and lifted them from where they are without doing anything strongly or stubbornly. Just from where they are, he will lift. That is the sign of, they say, is the best. The sign of a best teacher is who will lift you from where you are already, not try to drag you or pull you, but he will lift you from where you are already. So this is very interesting incident that while massaging the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, he saw a vision of a little girl circling around him and then merging into Sri Ramakrishna. But there are many times also when Sri Ramakrishna will say something, Raja Maharaj will not listen. One day Sri Ramakrishna said, please arrange for a betel leaf for me, pan. Amar jono pan shayad. Raja Maharaj, he did not like, I don't want to do all these kind of things. You see, simply he was so simple that straightforward he will say, no, I will not going to do this work. And Thakur, instead of, he is a teacher, he is the master, but instead of getting angry, he will smile. Okay, you don't have to do, okay, it's okay. So this was a wonderful relationship between the disciple and the teacher. So another thing we see that one day he was in a very grave mood. Brahmanandji, Thakur asked, why you are so unhappy? What is that? Well, I am not having any visions or anything out of this after doing meditation. I am not getting any result. Well, what kind of result you are expecting? I said something more this. Then he said, Sri Ramakrishna said, no, do you think it is also easy that one day you will meditate and next day the vision will come to you? It is not that easy. But one day when Swami Brahmanandaji Rakhal Maharaj was sitting in front of Kali temple, suddenly he saw a light, a spiritual light, big light coming from all and coming down to him. He got so afraid that he ran and came to the room of Sri Ramakrishna. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, what happened? Why are you so afraid? Well, I saw something like that. Then he explained the situation. Well, just now you told me a few days back you were telling you want a vision, and now the vision, you have got a vision, you are running away from that vision. So Swami Brahmanandji realized, Rakhal Maharaj realized, there is time for everything. If you do it before try to force something, you will not be able to sustain it. This is what we see also in the Kalpataru Day celebration, Kalpataru Day also. Many got visions, but they could not sustain it because that they were not ready for it. They were not ready to get those kind of visions of that kind of a grace. So all the time we should, this is a very important lesson also, with all the time we should keep on trying to make ourselves eligible to receive the grace of the Lord. So that is that. After that, Swami Brahmanandji started meditating on it, and that became his routine. So much a routine that it continued to the entire life. That his meditation was a very important part of his daily routine. So that is one portion. Then one day it so happened. I'm just going to narrate the incidents. We are not talking today of the philosophy, but the incidents that happened in the life of Raja Maharaj. So now we hear slowly, once we contemplate, you see, then all these things we will understand, and one day we will know why we discuss this and what is the relation with what we are talking today and what we are going to talk tomorrow or what we had talked about it before. So that relationship will come. Immediately you may feel, what is this? We are not able to understand. For nobody could understand when they came to Sri Ramakrishna, or Sri Ramakrishna also took a lot of sadhana. He underwent sadhana for 12 long years, day in and day out he struggled. Then only he came to the conclusion. He is supposed to be incarnation of God. He had to work that much. And the direct disciple who received the grace of Sri Ramakrishna had to work so much. So think how much we have to work to become eligible to receive his grace. So we are, as I told you, coming to a next incident. So one day Raja Maharaj told, okay, so I am very hungry. Hearing that, Sri Ramakrishna became very anxious. You see how much love he had for his disciples. He immediately came near Ganga and said, "Oh Gaurdasi, please come and bring some food." So because he started shouting, Raja Maharaj got very embarrassed. Why you are shouting like this? But lo behold, that time Balram Bose and Gaurdasi, Gaurima, they really came and brought many sweets and food. And then Thakur said, "Look, you please eat." But he was still very angry. Why do you have to shout? So Thakur, and he's getting angry, but Thakur is lovingly feeding him. This was the love and that Thakur bestowed, unconditional love and immense love. Thakur was personification of love, and that is what he gave to his disciple, and that disciple passed it on. So, and that also became the principle of Raja Maharaj. He said, many disputes in your life, many misunderstandings can be solved by mere love. He emphasized on love very much. He said, you have to try to forgive and forgive and love unconditionally. This is one of his message that we see, which is personified when he became the president of the Ramakrishna Order. You know, if we try to compare, we can say that Swamiji was like a sun, blazing power with knowledge and everything, power. And at the same time, Swami Brahmanandji was like a moon. So, very soothing light. Both were extraordinarily different. If you want to rank them, they were two of the highest ranking disciples of the Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna. But we do not grade like it, but they were the topmost one. So Raja Maharaj and Swami Vivekananda. As I said, one was sun, another was moon. Interestingly, another thing that we never talk about, contribution of Sri Ramakrishna, is one thing. You know, many people say whenever we talk of Ramakrishna Order, we talk of harmony of religion. When Holy Mother was asked what is the contribution of Sri Ramakrishna, she emphatically said it is renunciation. He came here to preach renunciation. That is one of the main messages of Sri Ramakrishna. Another message of Sri Ramakrishna was, during that time, the Renaissance in Bengal was going on. Brahmo Samaj and others, they did not believe in idol worship. That is, and everybody, they will never go down to any temple, or go to any temple or go down to any idol or thing like that. Swamiji also was part and parcel of Brahmo Samaj. So he used to insist to Raja Maharaj also not to go. But whereas Raja Maharaj followed a path of devotion. Path of devotion means that he was very much into path of devotion and he did not like the idea of non-dualism. So whenever Swamiji used to talk about non-dualism, he will run away. So once Sri Ramakrishna came to know about this and he scolded Swamiji, why you want to break the faith of other people? You follow what you have to follow. Each has their own inherent tendencies. They will grow according to their inherent tendencies. They will not grow according to you. So do not enforce your thought on others. So Swamiji immediately realized and he never forced. But coming down to the main point, this is another thing. Sri Ramakrishna re-endorsed the purity of image worship. That image worship which was declining, which was fading away from the mind of people. You see, he made the image very real. Many times, when he will say, when anybody will ask him to do something, he will say, I will go and ask mother. People were thinking maybe his mother is staying in some other quarter and he will go and ask that mother. But actually he was talking of Divine Mother. This image which was there in the temple, it was very, very divine. And he felt, not only felt, he realized the presence of the mother in the temple. And he said, when Swamiji asked, have you seen God? He said, not only I have seen God, I can make you see. And because I see him more tangibly than I see you. So it is not a vivid imagination that God is not there. And you see, Swamiji also got transformation because, and we, if we refer to the story of Raja of Khetri, we will know how the whole concept of idol worship changed from the mind of Swami Vivekananda, the one who was against all this idol worship, who never believed in any idols, and who never even advocated that one should not bow down before any image. So this is the one of the main another contribution of Sri Ramakrishna, which is in a very subtle way reinstallation of faith in humanity about the presence of divine in the idols. It is very important for everybody to do worship in non-dual form is not easy. It is very abstract and it is very dry. That is why Sri Ramakrishna said, for Kali Yuga, for this age, bhakti, path of devotion is the best. For this age, the path of devotion is the best. That is what Sri Ramakrishna felt. Now, coming down to about the Rakhal, this stories. You know about stories. There are so many stories about Rakhal Maharaj. So many because he was a very silent man. He will talk very less. But in the mind, he was like a child. He will play pranks also. So one day, while he was in Balram Bose's house, there was you see that in outside that McDonald and other places they wear some a rag of a beer or something, whatever they will wear and play and Donald Ducks and things like that and play with the children. Similarly, somehow Raja Maharaj got hold of one of such thing of a beer, and he was because he was going to a wrestling farm and do wrestling and akhada in the gymnasium. He used to go and do wrestling, and he was a very stout and a strong man and very stout that way. So he wore that beer thing, and then he asked Balram Bose to bring the children all around. There were many children in and around. Asked them to bring him near him. So when the children, and it was almost becoming time for Vesper, so it was dark, little bit dark. So when children came there, and suddenly they saw, they cried out in fear and rushed. But one girl was trying and standing. Then Raja Maharaj asked, why you are not afraid? All of them ran away. Why you did not run away? Bola, Maharaj, I know it is you. She is crying. She said, Maharaj, I know it is you. It is there is no beer in town. How can a beer come in this room? It is you. So then why you are crying? Well, I am afraid. You see, such a and then he lifted the girl on his lap and then consoled her, and everything was very funny but very small anecdote. But it teaches. You see, this is the condition of us also. We know what is whatever the different catastrophe or whatever danger or things that is coming, accidents that is happening in our life. We are afraid of our God. We can feel His presence, then that assurance will come. If we run away in fear, and then that kind of courage will never come. But if you know that everything in all things, whether it is good or bad, God is involved. Once you realize the presence of God, all that fear will eventually vanish away. Because then God will reveal Himself to you. You see that if you had run away thinking that it is a beer, it is appearance of beer. It is not real. So whatever negative things that come into our life, whatever accident that happen, it is not real and definitely not permanent. We must have faith, and if we have faith, everything will pass away soon, and for surely, for certainly. So that is one part of the story. Another story I am talking about is there was in those days Girish Chandra Ghosh, was a very important disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. And he was a playwright, and he created many plays. He was writing many plays, and many plays were there. Sri Ramakrishna also saw many plays, and that Sri Ramakrishna said, "You are doing a great job because through Lok Shikha, people learn through this place. That whatever we see nowadays, movie pictures, motion picture, what we call nowadays, or movies or whatever, dramas, serials, whatever. Those days it was only plays." So, and Girish Ghosh was writing those plays, and it was Sri Ramakrishna also attended many of his plays. So, there was one lady called Tara. In those days, woman acting in a theatre was not considered pious because of the tradition there. They will say one who is working in the play is very lowly. So they should not have any. They cannot mix with the society. They were called women of field recruit or some very negatively society never accepted. So that Tara, she had a desire that I should get initiation. I must talk because Noti Vinodini, there was another star theatre actor who got the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, and eventually because of that, many people, and since Girish Ghosh himself was the devotee of ardent devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, so she also got inspired. And that time, Raja Maharaj was the president, and he was in Belur Math. So many times she came to Belur Math and then asking to get initiation from. But seeing her, the disciples, other the severs and attendants will not allow her to meet. One day, when she came and she started insisting that I must meet Raja Maharaj, and started crying. And somehow Raja Maharaj came to know of it and why you are crying, what do you want? He said, Maharaj, I want initiation from you. I want dikta from you. So Raja Maharaj immediately agreed. He said, come such and such day, and I will give you initiation. When she came, and Raja Maharaj gave her the initiation. So after that, those who have taken initiation and those who know about the process of initiation, that once you get initiated, you have to give something to the Guru. You have to make some offering. You have to give fruits, clothes, and things like that to the Guru. So Raja Maharaj, after giving the initiation, asked, what you have brought for me? That time she did not know, nobody told me anything, because nobody was interested that she should get initiation, so nobody guided her, nobody gave any instructions to her. Then nobody told me anything about this. But then Raja Maharaj said, okay, next time when you come, you give me. Lady also immediately agreed. It's because she was acting in a theatre and she had a lot of money and she was quite rich a woman. She said, whatever Guru will want, I will give. How many jewelries or gold or money she can desire for. Whatever he asks, I will give. So, but nevertheless, she asked, Maharaj, what you need? You just tell me, I will bring it for you. Well, next time when you come, you offer all the sins of this life, the sins that you committed in this life, and the sins that you might have committed in your past life, you offer that everything to me. Hearing that, she burst into tears and crying. What? Never she experienced so much sympathy and love from anybody. How people will ask only for, you see, in this our material world, people only ask for money and things like that. How can anybody has the courage to say, offer me your sins? You see, this itself is a very courageous declaration. Give me all your sins. As a guru, he was ready to absorb all the sins of his disciple. And you see that after that, her life was remarkably changed and total transformation. All that ego and this and that of love, beauty and other things, everything vanished. And she also, like Noti Vinodini, became a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna and Raja Maharaj. You see, this is how these disciples of Sri Ramakrishna also used to act. And then, coming down to the third story. Third story is about Nirvananandji, the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. This is disciple of Raja Maharaj and his attendant also. Later on, he became Swami Nirvanandaji and became very, very famous. So one day, just before Vesper time, Raja Maharaj suddenly said, I am feeling hungry. Never he used to eat before Vesper. That was not his general habit. But somehow he said, I am feeling, Shurji, can you do any cook, give me something, provide, I want to eat something solid, not fruits or anything, something food, not fruits, food. So Shurji Maharaj said, why not? And immediately there was one stove, because where president of the order stays, there is some small pantry like thing is there, provision for heating the food and things like that. His provision is already there, and he called from the kitchen another stove. And very rushingly and very fast, he cooked some puris. Puri means hand bread and sabji and chole, something he cooked and gave to Raja Maharaj. Raja Maharaj said, you have cooked it so well and so efficiently and so fast. If this is your devotion to the service, you will get Brahma Jnana. You see, the highest Brahma Jnana, the realization of the Brahman is the highest knowledge that one can have. He was so pleased with the disciple that he gave him the blessing that may you attain the highest. The highest is Brahma Jnana. And that Raja Vidyana, that story of it spreads so fast and it is so often talked about it that by mere service one can become the realizer of Brahman. One can realize the Brahman, the highest. So that is the thing. That one of our worship is, our goal of our order is worship Atmana Mokshatam Jagat Hitaya, and another is work and worship. So we say that initially it is work and worship, then it comes work and worship, and the ultimate is work is worship. Whatever you do is worship. You don't have to worship separately. You don't have to follow any rituals or rites or work differently. Whatever you are doing, whatever your assignment, say you are a clerk in a hotel, or you're officer, or you're doing work in some factory, or you're accountant, or things like that. Any work that you do, if you do it with utmost devotion, that will, you can realize God through that only, and that will be part of the spirituality also. Religion doesn't mean that wearing like some ochre cloth, doing some arti. This is very, very superficial way of worshipping God. The real worship is when you realize that everything is part and parcel of God. To realize that is so. Work is also very important means. As we know, there are 4 ways of realizing God. One is bhakti, devotion, path of devotion. One is Raja Yoga, and one is Jnana, path of knowledge. One is path of that austerities, and one is path of devotion. So, by this path of service also, the work, the karma yoga, by doing mere karma also, you can definitely realize God, and that grace will come. Grace will come to upon those only who deserve it and who are eligible for it. And not only that, another thing is, even if you do not deserve, if you get it, then you will not be able to hold it also. So many people say, Maharaj, we don't get time for doing japam, there is no need to have something extra allocate separate. Initially, maybe it is necessary, but if you start doing your work, whatever, even it is a brooming the floor, mopping the floor, cooking the food, if you do it with utmost devotion, that itself will become the sadhana for you. That itself will become a spiritual practice for you, and that itself will lead you to spiritual realization. So, Nirvananandji, you see, grace, giving the utmost. What Guru will go, if you are happy with somebody, okay, you take 10 rupees, or you take, but nobody will give you the highest, which takes years and years and lifetimes to achieve. Raja Maharaj gave just because he cooked a nice food and in time. But it is not only that small incident, but the tenacity, the intensity with which he served the master, his Guru, that was to be appreciated. And Raja Maharaj was so moved by his service that he granted that called Brahma Gyan. May you get the knowledge of the Brahman. So that is one. Now coming back, as you know, after Sri Ramakrishna passed away, Raja Maharaj wanted to go on a pilgrimage, and Swamiji was said, "You are too priceless. I cannot allow you to go and do spiritual sadhana outside." So firstly, he asked Subodhananji to accompany him. Later, Swami Udaaranandaji was there. So every disciple used to give him so much of respect and held him such a high esteem that they used to go for begging the food, and while Raja Maharaj used to stay back at the ashrama wherever they were doing sadhana, tapasya, and they will bake food from door to door and bring for them back to the Raja Maharaj, and then they will share it with Raja Maharaj, Rakal Maharaj. So one day Udaaranandaji went whole day. They were going after begging from. He could not get anything. He got only one kochu. I could not get the exact English of that word, but he got kochu, and eating that he got Raja Maharaj got a very sore throat, and he was suffering intensely. And then Udaaranandaji also got very upset. Why did I do something like this? Why did I allow him to eat that kochu? So then he rushed out. It was in this incident happened in Ayodhya. So then after running here and there in search of lemon, everybody wherever he went, they said, "This Swami, this is not the season for lemon. You will not get." But since it was a direct disciple, God helps, you know. So he found a lemon and he brought that lemon back and added in water, and after drinking that lemon water, that somehow that throat was got little relief. That time, Raja Maharaj said to Thakur, "What kind of Thakur you are? You see, God, I am doing tapasya in your name, and this is my condition. Is not only you did not give me food, but the food that got me made me ill. If I become ill, how will I do sadhana?" So he became very upset with Sri Ramakrishna. And then, as you know, as he was a childlike, then he says, "I will worship you only if you give me khichdi and pickle tomorrow. Tomorrow I want hot khichdi and I want pickle. If you can offer me that, bring me that, then only I will believe that you are taking care of me. Otherwise, I will not believe in you anymore." So next day, both Udaaranandaji and Brahmanandji went to Saryu River to take bath, Sarju River to take bath. So when they were taking, monk came to him then and said, "Please, Swamiji, come with me." Well, where should I come? Well, no, you please come to me. And he took both of the Hari Maharaj and Raja Maharaj to his ashrama, and he served pickle and khichdi. Rakhal Maharaj had not told about this his interaction with Ramakrishna to Udaaranandaji. So he was very amazed. Why you are giving me this khichdi and achar? Well, no, yesterday Lord, my Ishtadevata Rama came and said, you have to prepare khichdi and two of my devotees will come tomorrow and you have to feed it to them. I did not believe in it first that as a vision, but then again, more I try to sleep, more somebody will wake me up. And finally, I agreed to make khichdi. And then it was Lord Rama who came and said, "My disciples or my devotees are there. They will come tomorrow. You feed them." So at that time, that monk crying bitterly, he felt at the feet of the Raja Maharaj. You see, all my life I am doing the sadhana of Sri Rama, Sri Ramchandra, but never he gave darshan to me and never I could make any progress in spiritual life. But by your grace, by your presence itself, I got the vision of Ramachandra. So this is how people work, but that doesn't mean that you are not really this. You can say, "Thakur, you have not given me this, you have not given me that," but only when that highest kind of relationship once you reach, then only we can say that love should be so intense, then we can complain. Just like that today, if there is no concern, if you complain, that will be very fake and not real. So this, I feel this incident also, many such miracles happened in life of everybody, including Swamiji's also. But we do not mention of miracles because in Ramakrishna Order, it is our tendency, our traditionally, we had decided not to talk about the miracles. Sri Ramakrishna also never talked about miracles or anything. And in fact, he did not like miracle mongering at all. But many miracles have happened in life. So in Sri Ramakrishna's life, but we are not, we do not discuss about them. One of the greatest miracle of Sri Ramakrishna was about Latu Maharaj, a shepherd boy transformation into sainthood. We are going to celebrate life of Swami Udaaranandaji on 16th of February. You see, that was one of the most glaring miracle of Sri Ramakrishna. How an illiterate shepherd boy was transformed into a sainthood. So that is what we do. So generally we do not tell stories or anecdotes or things like that because sometimes it is maybe it is exaggeration. Sometimes people may not believe in it. But there are many stories, and since today we decided, I thought whatever little bit stories I can learn, tell. I will tell. I will, instead of talking about the teaching, we will talk about some stories or anecdotes. So now coming to another story about Raja Maharaj. When he was a president, his president initiates the brahmacharis into first he initiates into brahmacharya, then into sannyasa, things like that. All is done by the president of the order. Like on the birthday of Swami Vivekananda, brahmacharya is given, and birthday of Sri Ramakrishna. Now it is a fixed, dates are fixed. Earlier, whenever the guru felt or the president felt, he could initiate. So one day, one brahmachari who was staying in Udbodhan came to Raja Maharaj. So for Maharaj, I want to take Diksha into Ashesh Anandji. His name was, later he became Swami Ashesh. I want to take initiation into brahmacharya. So Raja Maharaj said with a very grave face, "You have to give me 108 rupees. 108 rupees during that time, it was a very big amount. And the brahmachari was shocked, Maharaj, I have left my home and home, from where will I get money? No, you are coming from Udbodan, there Sharat is there. You go and ask, he has lot of money and there is a publication house and we are, you go and ask and tell him that I need 108. So when he reached there, Sharat Maharaj and told Maharaj is not giving Diksha to Brahmacharya. Then Sharat Maharaj said, no, he's playing prank on you. You go and say that you are the president of the order and though whatever is there within me belongs to you only. So there is nothing is mine. So again he went, no, then even then Raja Maharaj, this Brahmanandji was not ready to move. He said, no, you have to tell Sharat that he should arrange for 108 rupees, otherwise I will not initiate him to Brahmacharya. So this time Sharat Maharaj came and then another Brahmachari came for Brahmacharya from Vednipur. So when he came, Raja Maharaj told him that now you have to dance in front of me, whatever, like in what there is a traditional form of dance in Odisha. If you can dance like that, I will give you a message. What peculiar things, maybe very strange. Why making fun? You see, instead of it is not that he was doing very sadhana, he was playing fun and making fun also to in a lighter mode to keep people happy. It is not that he doesn't need money, he never touched money. So when Sharat Maharaj came and requested and then said, okay, it's okay, we will give Diksha. So how much, you may think that why is harassing a brahmachari to and fro, going from Belur Math to again to Udbodhan, why, but you have to cross Ganges and go again and come, why you have to do? You see, playing fun, pranks. But these are innocent pranks. It is, there are no malign intentions, very pure, full of fun. So these are the lighter sides of the Raja Maharaj. So another lighter side is he will consult almanac for everything. Whatever is Tithi Nakshatra, he was very particular. This is what time, this is how. But he said, I will not travel during this time, but I will travel during that time. But when that everybody is ready to pack and baggage, they want to go. He is not ready. He said, I will not go. So one day, one person is Sevak said, why you are doing like this? Every time you said, we fixed the date, seeing the almanac, this and that. Then he became very grave and said, do you think I really believe in those things? That I travel only when Sri Ramakrishna asks me to travel. I never travel of my own. It is when he gives me direct instruction, I travel then only. You see, this is how we get the glimpses of his life. That is, and now this this was his as a president. As a president, he has to the president has to attend the trustee meetings. So whenever they have to attend the trustee meeting, he will come. They will come to call him. He will decline. So then, some Udaaranandaji, one of the assistant secretaries, he asked Maharaj, why you cannot attend? You have to attend trustee meeting. It is part and parcel of your duties and office. Without you, how you see? Then Raja Maharaj explained, I see this world as a dream. I do not see the world as you, because if how can I have this? For me, this trust meeting, everything is not real illusion. I cannot make my mind to do all this, follow these protocols. So this was his state of mind. Another interesting thing is, whenever there was a resolution passed, his signatures were necessary. So whenever the papers will come, he will not sign. I will sign tomorrow. I will sign day after tomorrow. Then Sudhani, why I have to come again and again? Why can't you sign? Everything is decided and final. Only thing that you have to do is sign. Why can't you sign? You know what answer he gave? You see, I don't remember my name. You may think it is a joke, or you may amnesia, or something dementia, whatever. I do not what. You see, I am so much more. He did not. I really do not remember my name. At many times, it is very hard for me to remember who am I. So how will I? What will I sign? This was him as a president, because as a president he never enforced himself. There is a very important incident that happened during his, which we discussed, which is related very often, which is discussed, that one day in Kashi, Varanasi, as it is known, in Varanasi we have two centers. So there was a news that two centers, monks of these two centers are fighting. Monks also fight. It is very obvious we have all the human limitation and tendency. It is not that we are perfect, because again and again I tell, we are not siddhas, we are sadhakas, we are aspirants, we are not the realized souls. So until we become a realized soul, we will fight and have all the deficiencies. But we are striving for that perfection. So those two centers, they were fighting with each other. So the Raja Maharaj said, they said that we have to take some decision about this, otherwise because it's disrupting the atmosphere of the ashrama. The Raja Maharaj told, don't do anything, I will come and settle down. So everybody got the news, president of the order is coming, Rakal Maharaj is coming, and there was a wild hush hush, what to do, what to do. Many were thinking of running away also. But then when Raja Maharaj came, he never talked about anything. He never discussed about who is fighting with whom. He never asked for any explanation. He came and sat down in the temple for meditation. While he was meditating, and then he asked that whosoever wants, they can come. And seeing him present there in the temple, all came. And this continued for 2-3 days. And you see, there was a wonderful transformation. All the fight that was going on, all the disagreement, this and that was thing, it vanished by his mere presence. You see, then later on, Swami Brahmanandji used to say, if you really know how to meditate, if you know how to make your mind calm, everything else will fall into place. Everything else will fall into place. You see, by meditation, by his mere presence, the entire atmosphere changed. As a president, he could have scolded somebody, sent them for tapasya, taken some harsh action. But he never in his time took any harsh action against anybody. Rather, he delegated all the this work. All the work related to Math was taken care by Brahmanandji. The entire organization was managed by Swami Udaaranandaji. So like that, he delegated the work and never tried to that one-man control, that authoritative control. He never centralized control, micromanagement. He did not believe in micromanagement. You see, everybody should grow and work and evolve, and that will produce the best results possible. That is a big lessons for administration. What we try to do all the time, you see, moment we become manager, we want to become a control micro. How many times this will be said, how many times that will be done. We want to micromanage everything. We cannot delegate. We do not have the capacity to delegate the powers. But Raja Maharaj was so wonderful that he gave all the powers to the other disciples or other monastic members. He never wanted to hold power. But by his, you see, when you give away power, power comes back to you. That is the wonder of Almanda. Nobody did take any decision without telling him. By his very presence, he made it so apparent that people will come and consult, and not only consult, inform him, apprise him of all the things that is going on. So you don't have to spy on them or go after people to know what is going on. Once you have faith in them, they will reciprocate by having faith in you. It is both are interrelated. If you do not have faith, they will not have faith in you. So this is as a president, there are so many things. As a president, by his mere presence, there is one incident that happened in Tamil Nadu, Chennai. How his meditation helped. You know, one day in the Ramakrishna Math, Chennai, Arati was, now it is called Chennai, earlier it was Madras. So during that time, Swami Brahmanandji was meditating. Sister Devamata has written this incident. While he was meditating, suddenly she saw that everything was as frozen because of his meditation. He was so much into that mood that all those there was no movement in and around the place. Everybody was as if everybody was taken together and they all merged into same kind of consciousness. In fact, there was one boy who was moving across the street. That boy also has frozen. He could not move for a long time. So this is not an imaginary incident, but this is very, very real, and a recorded version which Sister Devamata has written, that he was so deeply immersed into meditation that he had the power to transform the area around him. That we say that from this power he had from his very childhood, that he transformed the master without asking or fighting or protesting or taking placards. By his mere presence, people will change themselves. So while he was meditating in temple, how many times you have to tell, oh please meditate, meditate. More you tell somebody to meditate, more they will want to run away or do something. But he never had to tell anybody to meditate. Where he will sit and meditate, the whole atmosphere will change. That was the power of Swami Brahmanandji. And now this we have discussed little bit. Now little bit his relationship with Swami Vivekananda. As I told you earlier, Swami Vivekananda was 10 days, 12 January was earlier, but Raja Maharaj was very respectful towards him. He used to say Dada 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 Dada. So you see, very important incident is once after winning everything in America, becoming very famous in America, when Swamiji came back and he made pranams to Rakhal Maharaj. Rakhal Maharaj was saying, why you are making pranams to say? Then he said, Guruvat Guru Putrashu. Well, the son of the Guru, because Guru is Ramakrishna, he is Guruvat. He is a teacher, who is the son of a Guru is Guru himself. Then when he made pranam, Raja Maharaj asked, why you are making pranams to me? Well, you are a child of Sri Ramakrishna. That is why I am making. And he said, Guruvat Guru Putrashu. Who is Putra of Guru, a teacher, son of a teacher is teacher himself. Because this is the respect traditionally we have in India. This is a very typically Indian culture that we have. And Raja Maharaj was also equally very smart. You see, he also made pranams. Then Swamiji was taken, why you are making pranam? Then he said, Jeshta Bhrata Pita Saman. You see, elder brother is like a father. You see, both showing respect. That is the secret of a happy relationship. Also, in any kind of relationship, if you have respect for each other, not only just I am this, I am that, I am the mother, I am controlling you, my son should obey me. That way not. If you love, you see, Swamiji is telling that son of a guru, and he is telling Jeshta Bhrata Pita Saman. Each is having love and respect for each other. Then another instance, one interesting instance that Swamiji, here there was a disciple, Sharat Chandra, he was known as Bangal. He became and there are so many conversation, inspired talk is there. He was asked to massage his feet. Swamiji said, I am not feeling well, you please massage my feet. But Bangal, Sharat Chandra, he was very weak and fragile, and what he was doing was not giving any happiness. Then he called Raja, he said. So Swamiji said, we go and call Raja. Raja means Brahmananda, president of the Ramakrishna Order. He said, come. Then he said, Raja, you see, this fellow is massaging me, but I am not getting any, I am not feeling well. Immediately, Raja started massaging, and for 2 hours continuously he massaged Swamiji, and it was such a nice massage that Swamiji fell asleep, and he was so relaxed. Then, and he was totally perspiring. Raja Maharaj, because he had worked very hard massaging this, he was also very tired, so he went to his room. That Sharat followed him, that boy, Bangal followed. Bangal, what do you want? Why you are following me? Well, Maharaj, you are the president of the order and you are massaging Swamiji. And say, he took out his tongue. No, don't say like that. He is Shiva himself. Why do you say like that? I am nothing in front of him. He is Shiva himself. You see, this is how each of them hold in high esteem with each other. That is very, this kind of loving relationship, it is very how. That is why you see, they say that somebody writes history. Somebody reads history. People like us read history. Somebody creates history. So people like them, they have created a spiritual history which we are only reading now. So we are only the reader of that history which they have written. So this is how another incident happened, that all the fun that in Belur we are having, we made that Belur has come from America. So it was all arranged by Swamiji. So and Mart was made by, as you all know, we have told earlier, Swami Vivekananda was the chief architect and the chief designer and for doing everything, and Raja Maharaj of course was the president. So that embankment, because it is near Ganga, a lot of embankment was necessary. So Swamiji was asking, he brought a lot of fund and asking, what is the status of the fund now? So fund was all exhausted, because estimate, as you know, it is very difficult to work with estimate and budget. We always run out of budget, it is over budget. So all the money was gone. Swamiji became very angry and furious. What happened to Vivekananda out of fear? When he is angry, very few people could stay in front of him. So when he called Brahmanandji, what happened to this fund, this and that, you told me this much money, with so much of great difficulty after giving lectures, you see, he will tell Bangla, Khana, that fuels were coming out of my mouth. I was so exhausted giving lectures after tons and tons of lectures. Few people give few dollars, and that I brought here. And now you are telling it money is over. What kind of management is this? He became very angry and he started scolding. And Raja Maharaj started crying. You see, he was very soft and timid. He could not fight back. He will never fight back. So he got equally upset and started burst into tears and ran to his room. Imagine the president or his staff and Swamiji scolding him, and then he ran to his room. That time, and Swamiji also immediately realized his mistake, and then he went inside and said, "Oh, Radha, sorry, you are our king and this and that. You are the Sri Ramakrishna loved you so much and as his own son. I made a grand mistake of scolding you. I'm so sorry." And he also started crying, and then both of them started crying, and then they embarrassed each other, and then you see, this was the love. 1 second of anger, and next moment it is all reconciliation, everything is forgotten. But here in our real life, what happens? Little bit of disagreement, little bit of disappointment, and anger is there for all our life. You see, very few can retain love, but anger, jealousy, all these are things, negativity, we retain for a longer time, and then we say we are so unhappy. What irony of fate is. If you really have love, if you really know how to forget, you may get angry, but next moment forgive and forget everything. So in Raja, Swami got angry for a moment, but it was momentary. Next moment he forgot, and they again reconciled, and everything was forgotten. He never said why you have scolded me. He never said why you did like this. Everything was forgotten. Once Nivedita, and see how Swamiji's faith in Brahmananda. Nivedita asked Swamiji, suppose you are not there, what to do? Then Swamiji said, if I am not there, if you can turn to nobody else but only Raja, Swami Brahmanandji. In my, if you want any judgment, Nivedita, no one but Swami Brahmananda, because the old man judgment can never fail, has never failed. You know, old man means Sri Ramakrishna. He says Sri Ramakrishna's Manasa Putra. It is Sri Ramakrishna's chosen. So it is the decision of Sri Ramakrishna. If I am not there, if you have to turn to anybody, it is to be, you go to Raja Maharaj. And then, that is what he told to Nivedita. And to somebody else, Raja Swamiji said, everybody can leave me, but not Raja. That much faith he had in Raja Maharaj. So you see, I can go again and there is no end to this story. No? What I think more of this little bit about Holy Mother. Holy Mother once got some clothes and she wanted to distribute it to the children. Now we have talked about his relationship with Sri Ramakrishna as a president of the order and as a relationship with Swami Vivekananda. Holy Mother, you know, that somebody donated some clothes and she wanted to distribute it to the children of Sri Ramakrishna, means monastic disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. So there was, all the clothes were of cotton or linen or something, only one was a silk cloth. So that silk cloth she kept and it kept it to and gave it to for Raja Maharaj. Then they asked her, somebody asked, Mother, why you have kept that good one for Raja, for Raja and others? You don't know, Rakhar is my son, that is why I have kept it for him. You see, Mother also had lots and lots of love for Raja Maharaj, Swami Brahmanandji. So now I can go on and on and on. There is no end to these stories. I wanted to present some stories. I tried my best. I do not know how far I am successful. I never wanted to make this a very, what should I say, dictative. This is what you should do. That is what you should do. This is what we learn. As far as possible, I do not know how far I am successful. If I am not successful, it's okay. I hope you will forgive me. I thank you once again and thank you very much. And now I think I will hand it over to Mr. Gangame for the two more songs that we have there. And naturally, I hope that you will all attend on Day after tomorrow, Swami Udaaranandaji's Tithi Puja also. And we have one more Tithi Puja left in this current, that is Swami Bhutananji. And after that is Thakur Tithi Puja, and after that is Swami Yoganandaji. With Yoganandaji, this year celebration list is over, and we will be entered into the next year. So thank you once again. Thank you very much. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tassat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for your such profound lecture, full of anecdotal details, out of which we can find some gem and jewelry of wisdom and what we can learn from Swami Brahmananda and the relationship between Swami Brahmananda and Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Brahmananda and Swami Vivekananda and Holy Mother and Brahmananda. So many dimensions we are. So you have given a new color and new touch by emphasizing on anecdotal details. So we will have now two very devotional songs, one in Hindi and other in Bengali, both sung by established monks. So please wait for these two songs. You can those of you who know the song, they can sing these two songs. You can keep yourself muted. I hope you'll enjoy these two songs. Very, very beautiful and devotional.
Nirmal, with your permission, with Maharaj's permission, if you give me half a minute, I'll also share a beautiful story involving Swami Ji and Raja Maharaj.
Sure. Okay.
Just a beautiful story I read. Raja Maharaj was very fond of fishing. He was extremely fond of fishing. Whenever he finds a pond or something, he will sit with a fishing rod, angle, and Raja Maharaj's room was next to Swamiji's room in the old Belul Math. And there is a big pond in Belul Math, it's still there. So Raja Maharaj used to go there for fishing. He used to plan to go there for fishing around in the evening, afternoon, but he was very scared of Swamiji. So he will see, definitely always send the fishing rod, angle, everything with another boy. And then he will walk after that. I mean, invariably Swamiji will ask, Raja, where are you going? Oh, no, just going down for the walk. So this is the kind of relationship between like two young boys. And then Maharaj talked about Surya Maharaj, who was Raja Maharaj's Sevak. I had the tremendous fortune of meeting him on several occasions. Thank you.
What a good anecdote relating to the Sevak of Brahmanandaji and the humorous story about Brahmanandaji. Thank you, Hiranya, for recounting that humorous incident. Now we'll play the song which is titled as follows: कैसे लगूं तुमसे प्रीत अस्थिर बुद्धि मन चंचल. Devotional song by Swami Sri Khandhanandaji. A very beautiful song. Please listen to these songs. This song. Hope you will enjoy the song.
कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत, कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत, अस्थिर बुद्धि मन चंचल चित अस्थिर बुद्धि मन चंचल चित राम कृष्ण प्रभु इस युग के नायक मैं हूँ दास तेरा चरणाश्रित कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत हर पल होता जग में परिवर्तन हर पल होता जग में परिवर्तन जड़ चेतन के तुम हो चेतन बन आए अब चंद्रमणि सुतन बन आए अब चंद्रमणि सुतन अचिंत लीला जीवन अद्भुत कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत सबके मन तुमको है अवगत हृदय निवासी साक्षी स्वरूप प्रगट हुए करने जग का हित प्रगट हुए करने जग का हित तन मन प्राण के हो समर्पित रूप तुम्हारा रहे चित में नित रूप तुम्हारा रहे चित में नित सदा सेवा में प्रभु सेवारत प्रेम हृदय से गाऊं तेरे गीत प्रेम हृदय से गाऊं तेरे गीत मेरी जीत में होगी तेरी चेते कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत अस्थिर बुद्धि मन चंचल चित अस्थिर बुद्धि मन चंचल चित राम कृष्ण प्रभु इस युग के नाथ मैं हूँ दास तेरा चरणाश्रित कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत कैसे लगाऊं तुमसे मैं प्रीत
22 फरवरी
What a beautiful song. Here the seeker, the singer is saying, I am so restless, I am so unsettled. How can I develop the relationship with you? So Sri Ramakrishna, I want to develop relationship with you. Give me equanimity so that I can develop relationship with you. I can develop relation with love with you. And because I am so much perturbed, so much disturbed, and so much restless, please grant me mental calm and equanimity so that I can develop a very good relationship, a loving relationship with you. So this is the summary of this song, beautiful song. Uh, After this, there is another very beautiful song that is by Swami Sarvaganandaji, very powerful singer. He's an esteemed monk of the Ramakrishna Order. Here he sings the song in the praise of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. He is telling that let us clap and take the name of Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. The title of the song is Hate Hate Tali Diye Bolo Ramakrishna Naam Ramakrishna Ramakrishna Akadhare Krishna Naam. So please listen to the beautiful song by Swami Sarvaganandaji Maharaj. Please give me 30 seconds to play that song. And those of you who know this song, you can sing this song by keeping yourself muted.
জীবন দুঃখে কাতর হাতে হাতে তালি দিয়ে বল রামকৃষ্ণ নাম রামকৃষ্ণ রামকৃষ্ণ জয় কথা রে কৃষ্ণ রাম হাতে হাতে তালি দিয়ে বল রামকৃষ্ণ নাম রামকৃষ্ণ রামকৃষ্ণ জয় কথা রে কৃষ্ণ রাম রামকৃষ্ণ নাম বল রাম কলির কারুক ব্রহ্ম রামকৃষ্ণ নাম রামকৃষ্ণ নাম বল রাম কলির কারুক ব্রহ্ম রামকৃষ্ণ নাম হাতে হাতে তালি দিয়ে বল রামকৃষ্ণ নাম রামকৃষ্ণ রামকৃষ্ণ এক আধারে কৃষ্ণ রাম রামকৃষ্ণ রামকৃষ্ণ এক আধারে কৃষ্ণ রাম এই যুগতে সারগরম কৃষ্ণ নামের ভেলা পারে যেতে চাষ যদি করতরাই বেলা এই যুগতে সারগরম কৃষ্ণ নামের ভেলা পারে যেতে চাষ যদি করতরাই বেলা এই যুগতে সারগরম কৃষ্ণ মধুর নাম যুগের ভালো লাগিয়ে পেলে হরি গুণগান করো রামকৃষ্ণ নাম এই যুগেতে সারদারাম কৃষ্ণ মধুরাম যুগের ভালো লাগিয়ে পেলে হরি গুণগান করো রামকৃষ্ণ নাম হাতে হাতে তালি দিয়ে বল রামকৃষ্ণ নাম রামকৃষ্ণ রামকৃষ্ণ এক আধারে কৃষ্ণ রাম রামকৃষ্ণ রামকৃষ্ণ এক আধারে কৃষ্ণ রাম শরণাপতির কোন বিকল্প নাই সংসারে কেন দুধে মধুভাতি সর্বন ভক্তি প্রতি কত ভক্তি সংসার মুক্তি কেন পুত্র মোর ভাই মোরে মোরে রামকৃষ্ণ মোর নাম রাখু সাপ শুভ রামকৃষ্ণ Hare Mote Ram Krishna
What a beautiful song. And with this, we have concluded today's birthday celebration, Tithi Puja celebration of Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj. And before we end today's program, I would request Hiranya Mukhopadhyay to kindly give vote of thanks to Maharajji and also all the participants to be present, although it is a weekday. And Hiranya Mukhopadhyay.
Okay, I did not know that I have to give vote of thanks because Maharaj is our own Maharaj. It is our own function, but nevertheless, it was a highly enjoyable program. And what can I say? Thank you, Maharaj. Pranam, Maharaj. It is like my situation is like become now like a drug addict. Every Sunday I'm looking for 6:30. Every other program day I'm looking when is 6:30, when is 6:30. Like that 6:30 comes and I like to take some drugs. Drugs is nothing but Sri Ramakrishna's name. And so wonderful, Maharaj. Thank you very much for giving us a wonderful evening. Very enjoyable evening. Thank you, Maharaj. Pranam.
Pranam to everybody, and I would like to refresh you about day after tomorrow, Swami Trigunathikaనంdaji's Tithi Puja birthday celebration, same time, that is 6:30 p.m. Hong Kong, Singapore, Philippine time, and 4:00 p.m. India time. We'll have if you want to chit chat for a few minutes, 5 minutes or so, you can do that. But let me end the recording. Please give me 30 seconds to end the recording, and thereafter you can talk with each other for maybe for 5 minutes or so.